Hello, welcome back to the Sewing Circle. My name is Leslie and this is Friday Sews. Welcome back. I just first of all want to start off by saying if you're a new subscriber here, welcome in. Thank you so much. My subscribers went up substantially these last couple of weeks and I just want to celebrate my channel and I want to thank you if you've subscribed. If you're not a subscriber, welcome. Please subscribe. I would love to have you be part of the Sewing Circle. Now, today we are talking about applique vintage art pants that I upcycled. I have been looking for just the right pair of pants to upcycle for the spring summer wardrobe that I've been working on. And I wanted some like lightweight denim pull-ons. I found the perfect pair at the thrift shop. And here they are. Now, I want to talk about what inspired me to make these pants. But first, I want to show you my pants. Today's video is going to be making these pants. Now, these are obviously from the thrift shop. And they were a little bit worn, which I love. They're extra soft. They're very thin cotton pants. I opened up the crotch of these pants. Now, if you're going to do an upcycle like this, you want to take your seam ripper and take your time and open up the inseam of the pants right in the crotch, avoiding the seams that are completed. And these had elastic in the bottom, so I avoided the elastic area in the bottom. And I just opened up the main seam on both legs so that I could work on the legs in my sewing machine. Now, a lot of things inspired these pants. But first, let's talk about what makes fashion. Have you ever thought about that? There is so much fashion and there's so many things that people love to wear that wouldn't wear. I wouldn't wear that. I would love to be able to wear that. I love that, but I wouldn't be brave enough to wear that. And I was thinking about that today while I was working on these pants. What makes fashion so versatile? Well, fashion is inspired by a multitude of factors, reflecting a complex interplay of culture, history, technology, art. Today, I want to talk about the influence of nature, of the environment, botanicals, zoology, forms of art, and art palettes, and how we can use those things to create something like this. And all I'm doing is just really trying to help you get inside my brain and understand the process of these kinds of upcycles and what makes my brain just go on fire and drive after something. So what inspired these pants? Let's talk about that first. I love daisies. I have daisies coming up all over in my pots in my front patio. And I just walk by and they make me smile. Daisies are whimsical. They're so like a wildflower, but so the white in them is just so up level. So I love daisies. I love the color pink. You can see I even have a pink sewing machine here in my sewing room. I have a pink tissue dispenser in my room. I love pink. Even my cameo silhouette is pink. Now, so that was the color I picked, the color palette, the blue, the pink, the greens. I love strawberries. Strawberries in my kitchen, strawberries on my clothes. I have strawberry shortcake backpack. I love strawberries. The other thing that inspired these pants was my Lily Pulitzer bag. This is my art bag. I love the colors. I love the lime green, the pink together, the blues, the yellow. And I found a Lily Pulitzer bandana by Estee Lauder, and I fell in love with it. Thrifting, I saw it and I said, these are for these pants. I love slow stitching. I love to put on a Regency Romance audiobook and sit and stitch at night at my table. And so that's what I've been doing. And then the last thing that really inspired these pants is this vintage embroidered blouse by Laura Scott that I found thrifting. And you can see it's all embroidered right here. I love it. It has the great cut in the front here. It's just adorable. And I wanted a pair of pants that would go with this really well and tie it together. So this is what I've come up with. I have gone through my fabrics. I have picked out my strawberries, my pinks. This is part of the Lily Pulitzer bandana, these big daisies. And then I embroidered little daisies all over these pants. You will see that there are daisies everywhere because I wanted to add texture. I also cut slits in the front pockets. Let me see if I can show you. Right here, I cut slits and did a little distressing, and I appliqued inside of that pocket and embroidered a daisy. Just adding little touches to these pants made them come out so adorable. We're not done with them. I still have some top stitching to do on this applique. And so I'm going to take you out to my sewing trailer and we're going to finish up these pants together. Okay, we're out in my trailer. This is my sewing trailer if you're new here. And this is where I have all my sewing stuff set up, where I do my main sewing projects. And I have some Pellin. This is paper-backed Pellin. You can get it at Hobby Lobby or at fabric stores or on Amazon. And there is a rough side to it and there is a paper side to it. What you want to do is you want to put the rough side of the Pellin with the paper side up onto the back of your fabric. This is how you're going to make an iron-on out of a piece of fabric. So I have done that. This is a strip of the sheet I used that has the strawberries on it, and you can see that there is the paper backing here. Now what we can do is we can grab the sewing scissors and we can just cut around a strawberry, attach this strawberry to the pants. Now I got a wonky little tip there. Let's get that off. And then I score the back of the paper with a pin so that it comes off easily. And then I just remove the paper. And now this side of the strawberry has like a glue where I can iron the strawberry onto the pants. I've opened out the leg of my pants. I have my iron turned on. I have my strawberry or whatever flower, whatever you want to cut out of your fabric. I have my Pellin on the back. And now I'm just going to place it where I want it on the pants and carefully press. You don't want to rub back and forth. You just want to press straight down for a few seconds. And all you're doing is just getting it to stick into place. As you can see, now it's stuck into place. Now I'm going to use this foot. This is a free quilting foot for my sewing machine. And I'll put it on my sewing machine and we can go all the way around that strawberry and adhere it to the pants. And it's easy for me to get in there because of that open seam I have of the pants. I can lay it out flat and put it under my machine. So let's go sew this strawberry onto these pants. Off my regular pressure foot. And I'm going to go ahead and put on my quilting foot. I'm going to lay out my pants. This is the strawberry that we just ironed on. I'm just going to drop down that pressure foot. I have my straight stitch setting on, and I'm just going to start going around that strawberry. You can go sideways, you can go around the outside, you can do loop-de-loops if you want to. When you have this foot on, you can go any direction you want. And it makes it so easy just to applique and do sewing on the outside of something. It's so fast and easy. Now, because this applique is inside the pocket, I did go ahead and already do some embroidery of the daisies on the outside, but I haven't stitched out around it, which I really want to do just to make sure that this doesn't come loose when I wash the pants. So I'm going to go ahead, I've knotted my needle and thread. I'm going to go ahead and from the inside of that pocket, I'm going to bring my needle up and I'm just going to hand stitch around this strawberry so that this pocket is usable. On one of the pockets, I did just stitch the pocket shut. And when I was done, I was kind of bummed out that I did it that way because now only one of the front pockets is accessible on the pants. But, you know, it's okay. I could tear it all out, but there's a lot of stitching and I just decided to go with it. It's going to be fine. I have one pocket and these are going to be warm weather pants. It's not like I'm going to need to put my hands in my pockets. I just wanted the other, like the cargo pockets to be available. I wanted to be able to use my back pockets for my phone. And so I did go ahead and do all the hand sewing for those pockets. I'm just doing like a running stitch or a quilting stitch out around the outside here. As you can see, I'm not being too particular, just trying to make consistent little jabs and stitches. I put one finger underneath to kind of guide the needle back up when I'm stitching. I learned how to do this when I was a Mennonite. We used to do hand quiltings. We would have a quilting circle and we would go sit around a frame and hand quilt pieced quilts. And so I have learned how to do hand quilting that way just by rocking the tip of the needle back and forth, in and out. And yeah, you just create an even stitch that looks really beautiful. There's a special name for this in the Japanese hand sewing, Sachiko, or I'll pop that up on the screen. I can't remember exactly how to say it, but I'm sure you've seen some of the Sachiko slow stitching, hand stitching. It's a beautiful work. Line up my seams. Makes it pretty easy because these seams have already been sewn before. You want to make sure that you're getting a good starting point. And then just line up your seams really well, making sure that you're staying on the original seam. I got my pants all seamed up. Now I just want to go ahead and put them on the serger and run a quick serge on that. So I got them all seamed up and now I'm remembering that I have these little strawberry and daisy buttons. And I think I picked these up at Hobby Lobby. And I have these flat pockets that have these brown buttons on right now. So I'm thinking I might replace some of these buttons that are on these pants. I think there's three pockets that have a little brown button. I'm going to go ahead and replace the button with some strawberry and daisy buttons. A fast way to sew on buttons is to go ahead and take your thread and double it in half and use that looped edge where you doubled it and thread that loop through your needle. And then you will be sewing with 4 strands instead of 2, which will shorten the amount of time it takes to sew on a button. So whenever I'm hand sewing a button, I do it this way. And I have 4 strands. I'm going to knot it. I'm going to sew on a button. I've removed the other button and I've come up through the back side and now I'm sewing on this beautiful strawberry. It's going to be so cute. And I'm just going through that loop twice because that gives me 8 strands of thread that will hold that button securely into place, no problem. And I'm coming into the back, and now I'm going to knot it. My button is on. It goes that fast.